Terence Crawford, the man himself, is one of the most complete fighters in boxing today. He is a switch hitter with power in both hands and possesses the ability to set up knockout blows. Alright, so today in this video, I'm going to be breaking down Terence Crawford's fighting style and what makes Crawford so good at boxing. Now let's move on to the first thing that makes Crawford so good at boxing, and that's his switch hitting. So we all know that Crawford's a southpaw, which means he's left-handed, but at the same time Crawford's very good when it comes to switching between orthodox and southpaw. So first things first, being able to switch between stances is very impressive considering he does it while he's on the move. And on top of that, being a southpaw is usually an advantage considering most people are orthodox and are used to fighting orthodox boxers. And facing someone like Crawford who can switch between stances can be very confusing. Now that we're done covering switch hitting, let's move on to the next thing that makes Terence Crawford so good at boxing. So it's Crawford's footwork. First things first, what happens with a lot of boxers who try switching between stances is that they end up losing balance and falling off. Besides all that, Crawford's able to maintain a good balance and uses a combination of pivots or bouncing back and forth to charge in or fall back. It's also very rare to see Crawford getting cut off the ring, as he's able to get away easily, especially by combining footwork and combinations. And to improve footwork, Crawford focuses on ladder drills, especially the ones where you move in and out or sideways, and cone drills with shadow boxing for better speed, pivots, and agility. And if you don't have a ladder and want to get better at footwork, stick some tape on the ground. So now that we're done covering Crawford's footwork, let's move on to his accuracy and punching volume. So even more than Crawford's physical speed or power, Crawford's very good at combining boxing combinations with great accuracy. As you see in the fight against Errol Spence, instead of trying to one-shot Spence with a single power shot, he goes on to find the open spots in between the guard, and a lot of times he uses body shots and hooks. On top of that, he throws a lot of punches, so the volume is quite intense. Unlike Canelo or Foreman, who are like one-shot masters, it's very similar to Naoya Inoue, who has power but very good accuracy and punching volume. So the main reason why it's very essential is that it breaks your opponent down over time. So Crawford spends a lot of time on mitt work to increase accuracy and a lot of time on bag work to increase punching volume. Well, don't get me wrong, he does have a lot of power, but it's a combination of average shots with one or two heavy shots for knockout. For example, a normal jab cross and an uppercut and a strong rear hook. So now that we're done covering Crawford's volume and accuracy, let's move on to the next thing that makes Crawford good at boxing. It's exchanging blows and counterpunching. So by now, everyone knows that Crawford's very good when it comes to counterpunching. So as you can see in the video, Madrimov misses an uppercut, and Crawford instantly comes up with a right body shot. And most of the time, instead of slip and counter or roll and counter, Crawford focuses on parry and counter. So the parry and counter is essentially stopping a punch with your gloves and then coming up with a counter. Not to mention that Crawford's very good when it comes to exchanging blows. So once you land a hit on Crawford, you need to watch out. So now that we're done covering Crawford's counterpunching, let's move on to the next thing that makes Crawford so good at boxing. That's his defense and ring IQ. Crawford's also very good when it comes to anticipating his opponents. So yeah, round 1, 2, 3, 4, Crawford's out there analyzing his opponents, and by round 5, Crawford's locked in. He's also very good when it comes to controlling the pacing of a fight and maintaining distance. He primarily uses a lot of jabs and volume punches to maintain distance. With his fighting style, he's able to parry punches fast, use high guards, and use head movement to get away. And one of the best drills Crawford uses in order to improve head movement is a slip line. As you can see in the video, Crawford can utilize the slip line to roll and come up with counters, while shadowboxing and moving around at the same time. Additionally, he uses mitt work to improve slipping or moving faster, and sparring of course. Well, the slip line is certainly used by a lot of boxers, including Canelo Alvarez and Mike Tyson. And Terence Crawford has a lot of strength and conditioning to improve both durability and offense. Especially considering that Crawford's about 5'8" and he got all the way up to 168 and had zero problems fighting Canelo Alvarez. But yeah, his strength and conditioning mainly consists of plyometrics workout like landmine press. So landmine press is by far one of the best, as it increases both power and explosiveness, and at the same time conditions the shoulders very well. Also, medicine balls can be very good to improve shoulder conditioning. And on top of that, for his shoulders, he does a lot of shadow boxing with light dumbbells and resistance bands to improve both speed and power. He also trains his lower body a lot like quads, as punching power mainly comes from leg drive and hip rotation. So workouts like squats, squat jumps, and lunges can be very beneficial for leg training. And Crawford also focuses on bench press and push-ups for chest, and cable rows and pull-ups for back. And then moving on to the last part of strength and conditioning, Crawford trains his core by doing leg raises, crunches, and planks, as having a strong core can help improve durability and power at the same time. I mean, there are things like stamina, but it's very simple, road work and a lot of sparring. So yeah, Terence Crawford, in my opinion, is probably the most well-rounded boxer of all time. Terence Crawford is very good when it comes to switching between defense and offense and can even exchange blows with bigger guys. And I think Crawford beats anybody his size.